Hello and welcome to Entertainment Tech News, City Tech's one and only bi-weekly news show. I'm your host, Amar Santos. Now before you turn off your screens, I just want to let you know we're not doing an episode on the Haunted Hotel today. Now we're going to be doing a different episode on the City Tech Library, one of City Tech's most important resources. Now if you aren't aware of the services or the people that work there or anything about the library, here's a quick video to catch you up to speed on just that.
We're here at the reference desk, and we're going to see what kind of help students can get here.
At this reference desk, whenever the library is open, you'll find a librarian here who can help you, with your assignment, find sources that you need.
Do you have an important research paper? You can get one-on-one help with research assignments from expert librarians. You can even chat with us 24/7 online.
We lend textbooks out. That's one of our biggest, most popular things, especially for new students, getting free textbooks to borrow. We also lend calculators, and we have study rooms, which a lot of students like for if they're doing a group project to work on together.
We also offer a bunch of workshops for students every semester on everything from citing sources to protecting your online privacy or creating a resume that would help you land a job once you graduate.
So what are some tips you can offer to new students?
Well, probably the most important tip is that the library is also available online. So if you're on the library website, you can access the catalog, you can reserve a study room, and you can even watch movies.
Just make sure to activate your student ID so you can use all of our digital resources from home.
How many pages can a student print out, and if there's a certain cost to getting pages printed?
Oh, it's completely free and it's 30 pages per student per day.
So 30 pages per student per day for free?
Yeah, for free.
Maybe the best reason to visit the library is that research shows that it helps students succeed in college. Students who regularly use the library have higher GPAs than their peers and are more likely to graduate on time. Still not convinced? Then come on down to the City Tech Library and see for yourself. Now that you guys are all caught up on that video, we're going to talk to someone who was actually in that video herself. We're talking with one of the librarians today, Nora Almeida. Welcome to the show, Nora.
Thanks for having me, Amar.
So, Nora, what can you tell me about what librarians do?
Well, librarians do a lot of different things. So everything from designing our website to making sure that our subscriptions to all of the resources that we license stay current, to teaching. So my role in the library is as an instruction librarian, and I also do outreach. So we do a lot of programs with students. I teach a regular credit course. It's an interdisciplinary course. I just came from there, actually. And I also help students do research. So one of our primary functions in the library is to help students complete projects, find resources that they need. A lot of students come in the first couple of weeks of the semester looking for their textbooks. But as a central place in the library too, students just come there asking all sorts of questions, like about technology, who their advisor is. If they just don't know something, they end up in the library. And that's kind of one of the roles that we play on kind of the front line of student questions.
Mm-hmm. So how many librarians are there along with you?
There are about 5 or 6 instruction librarians, and then we have librarians that run specific services. So someone who maintains our website, someone who does systems, someone who does electronic resources, someone who catalogs the books, buys the books, that kind of thing. But we're a pretty small group, especially considering the population at City Tech. We have about 17,000 students here. Mm-hmm. And so for that amount of students, we have about one librarian for every 1,500 students, which is not that many. Yeah, so we're pretty busy.
So how do you guys manage to work around such a big
Well, it's been really hard. We've had a couple of years where we haven't been able to hire because of budget cuts. And so one of the things that we have had to do is cut some of our services. Last semester, we actually cut hours because we didn't have enough staff. And the Student Government Association here created a petition to keep the library open. And I think that it's really helpful for us to know how important the services in the space is for the students to have access to. But a lot of us are just juggling a lot. We're faculty. Maybe not everyone knows that librarians are faculty here. And so just like other faculty, we do things like research and publish and serve on committees and all that fun stuff. And we also are here all summer and during intersession and that fun stuff. So yeah, it's a lot. A lot of people think librarians just hang out and read, which I wish that we did. Once in a while I get asked for a book recommendation, but yeah.
So you mentioned budget cuts. Like what do you think caused like the budget cuts, and like do you know like how like that affects you like long term in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that it affects, well, it does affect me, but I think it affects like the college community at large. And so a lot of the budget cuts come from the state. CUNY, senior colleges are funded by the state of New York City and a little bit from New York City, but most of our funding comes from the state, and there just have been like flat budget years, and so it's been really hard on campuses, especially at places like City Tech where a lot of students receive TAP, which is the Tuition Assistance Program, and TAP doesn't fully fund like the cost of going here. So they have something called the TAP gap, which a lot of students have been talking about, and essentially what ends up happening is the college doesn't receive funding for all of the tuition dollars that they would get if people were not receiving tuition assistance, or if the state was putting up the money to fully financially support the students that need tuition assistance. So it's not just affected our department. I'm sure it's affected departments across the campus, but because the library only offers a couple of credit courses, so we have 2 different credit courses that we offer, but we don't have a major, so it's easier to cut things like support services, like the library. You may have noticed that the writing center around the corner is closed all semester. So those are the kind of services that get cut the first.
So, because of these budget cuts, like, do you think like the services that you offer at the library, like, are those cut too, like the ones that we mentioned in the video?
Not most of the services that we've been able to kind of keep up with most of the services that we offer. Like sometimes our book budget is cut, and I mentioned that we had to cut hours. We did cut the length of some of our courses to try to figure out if that would actually save time. And we've done things like to increase efficiency at the desk, where we used to sometimes have double coverage, so we'd have 2 people during busy times, and we're just not able to do that anymore. So I think we've tried to maintain a high level of service. I think most of the librarians really care about students, and one of the ways in which I have tried to deal with this for myself and just to raise awareness among the student population, because I think the best way to work on the issues of underfunding and to get the attention of the governor is to talk to students about it and see how the cuts are affecting them, and to try to work collectively to change things. So we do in our outreach work a lot of partnerships with students, with the SGA, Student Government Association here, and with NYPIRG, which is the New York Political Interest Research Group. So we actually do a lot of media making and events with them that are kind of to focus on social and political issues, including CUNY funding and like MTA costs and things like that that affect students.
So you mentioned like since we're on the topic of library services, like that weren't like cut, like what other services like do you offer at the library that are like still open to the students?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the primary things that we do is research support. So one-on-one research support, but we also see every single English 1101 class in the library, and we support College Now. So a lot of students in their first year will take a class where that's the first time they're really doing college research. And they may have never used academic resources. They might not be familiar with like the way that the library search engines work. So a lot of that basic intro work is kind of where we start. And then our public service desks and things like we have chat reference so students can get help online. So we try to make sure that students can get kind of individualized attention. We also offer a series of workshops every semester. We do workshops on things related to research, but also issues like digital privacy. I did a workshop yesterday about graduate school applications. So we've noticed that more students from City Tech have been asking like about help with applying to graduate school and doing research about graduate school programs. So we decided to do a workshop about that and made a kind of a digital resource for students. So, you know, I mean, we do a lot of great, I think we do a lot of great things. And I really like being able to have like individual interactions with students as part of my job, not just in a classroom, but you know, when students have questions or don't understand an assignment, it's really great to have a one-on-one interaction to be able to kind of parse through that with them, and it's a little bit more informal.
Well, hopefully, like the attention that we bring to it today will hopefully like eventually like lead to circumventing the entire budget cuts problem and eventually lead
Yes.
down to helping the whole system eventually.
Yes, I hope so. I hope the governor tunes into City Tech News.
Well, we want to thank you again for joining us on our show. Thank you everyone for coming and joining us today. This has been Entertainment Tech News, and today our guest has been Nora Almeida. Join us next week for our upcoming show about the concert on December 6th.